Hello, this is Joshua for Frost Dragon Designs, and today I'd like to talk to you about my Spilled Plant Cat Heart Enamel Pin. This pin is part of my monthly Cute Cat Pin subscription club. Every month, members of the club get a new cute cat pin sent to them directly in the mail. If you join the club anytime between now and the end of June 2025, the first pin you'll receive is the Spilled Plant Cat. Now let's get into the design. I don't know why, but cats do seem to enjoy spilling things or knocking them over or pushing them off the edges of tables. If you've ever had a cat and your cat does not have this behavior, lucky you. I've had a number of cats throughout my life, and almost every single one of them has some sort of, I would say, a destructive quirk. Most of the time, it's that they like to knock things over or spill things. My most recent cat, a little calico named Lily, she had a propensity for knocking over water glasses. If you left any vessel with water on a table for any length of time, you would hear tink as she tipped it over and poured the water all over the table. So the Spilled Roses pin design that this is a descendant of, that happened. Yes, there were flowers, there was water, it was a mess. Luckily, the glass didn't break. But anyway, but I have also had cats who enjoy knocking over plants. Sometimes it's because they want to get in and play with the dirt. Other times it's just because they're little lovable furry jerks and they just like knocking things over. So I thought that this would be a fun pin design and probably would resonate with a lot of people who've had cats and plants at the same time. So I really wanted to have that kind of moment of, man, the cat did it again, is kind of what I was going for with this pin design. And I think part of what I find amusing about this is because, as humans, our reaction is going to be one of dread or annoyance or anger because, this plant, has been knocked over, the plant might be damaged, the pot in this case is clearly broken. So we're agitated by the situation, likely. But the cat, on the other hand, this cat is investigating. They are curious. It's like, oh, it's on its side now and in pieces. This is interesting. Let's see what we can learn about this. And I think that is also emblematic of most of the cats that I've had. Unless they're being scolded about the situation, after the initial run away happens, they tend to come back to the scene of the crime, to maybe to evaluate the effectiveness of their knocking things over. I don't know. One of the challenges I had with this particular design was deciding what plant I wanted to do. Because of the size and scale of the pin, a lot of plants that I was interested in may not have worked well because I felt like they would have been too detailed, too many small cells for the enamel, and I've done pins like that before. A really good example of a pin with a lot of tiny cells in it is the Forget-Me-Not cat. And while my production partner did a reasonable job with those, I felt like there were a lot of them with errors just because of the large number of cells that needed to be filled in with enamel. So I try to avoid that, and having a lot of little leaves would definitely cause that type of an issue to happen. So I ended up going with an old favorite of mine, the snake plant. Or I think these days, what is the scientific term for this? What is it? It's like Dracana trifasata? I don't know. I can't pronounce it. It's long. It's Latin probably. But it's also got a lot of other fun names. I mean, I grew up with it being called snake plant, but apparently it can be like St. George's sword or mother-in-law's tongue. I find that one pretty funny. Kudos, by the way, for me finding an awesome wife with a great mom, because I really like my in-laws. They're awesome people. So sorry to any of you out there who don't have that situation. Sorry for you about that. But anyway, the snake plant was a really good choice because it allowed me to have a lower number of cells for the enamel, and because of the way the leaves have that lighter edging on them, I felt like it let me give a good visual variety of color for the leaves, which really helps it just not be like a big mass of just green. It has visual interest now. And toward the end of the design, I fiddled around with the pot color for a little bit before I landed back on a terracotta. I added the little white circles to kind of represent perlite in the soil. That's very common in a potting mix. And overall, I ended up with a design that I really enjoy. I don't know how many people are really gonna, want a pin to remind them that their cat knocks over their plants, but I really enjoy this one, and I hope you do too. Hope you enjoyed watching me design this, hearing some of the thoughts I had when I was working on it. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe. I try to release 1 to 2 new videos a week, and I would love to have you along for the next one. So thank you again so much for your time, and have a great rest of your day.